Hi guys, in previous video I showed you how to draft your basic skirt block, but in today's video I'm going to show you how to alter this skirt block so that you can use it to create a pencil skirt. So the first thing I'm going to do is place a paper on my table and lay my block or skirt pattern on top that paper. Then I'm going to trace round it. So you want to make sure that when you're tracing round your skirt, you highlight certain points like the upper hip line and the hip line level, the hem, as well as the dart area. So right now I am using a tracing wheel to just trace out those markings so that it can be replicated on the plain paper. And after that, what I'm going to do is to use my marker and ruler to make the lines visible for you to see. If I was doing this off camera, I usually will use a pencil, but for the purpose of visibility, that is why I'm using a marker pen. Make sure to label your pattern. So I'm going to repeat this same procedure for my back pattern or my back skirt block. That is tracing around it, highlighting the lines on certain areas or at certain angles. Then I'm going to also use my tracing wheel on it, as well as recreating those lines that I have already marked out on my paper so that it can be visible for you to see and also visible for me to see when I'm working with a pattern. So do not forget to label just like the way you did for the front block. After labeling, the next thing we're going to do is measure our dart intake horizontally at the waist for the back. So let's assume our waist dart is 4 cm. So we're going to mark 1.5 cm at the center back. So it means what will be left with at our waist, that area is going to be 2.5. So you are going to divide that 2.5 and mark half to the left and half to the right. Then you connect it back to the length of your original dart for the back block. For illustration purposes, I used a blue marker pen and I'm going to use broken line to connect the 2.5 cm mark that I divided back to where the dart stop. Then I'm also going to connect from the 1.5 cm mark. I'll blend it back into the center back line. So this helps to give like a curve like shape to your skirt. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to measure from my side seam waist at the side back. So to do that, you're going to measure from the side seam and mark where the knee is on the paper. So you want to make sure that you must have also measured the person and written it in your book, because I'm using the measurement I have in my note to replicate on the paper. So if you measured 36 cm, make sure you're marking 36 cm. I'm just trying to make sure my lines are straight. That's why I'm also measuring from my hip line level just to get a straight horizontal line. But it's better you measure from your side waist and rule a horizontal line across. So I'm labeling the pattern at the knee line so that I do not get confused by the time I start having other lines on this pattern or block. Now I am going to measure 2.5 cm inward of my center back. Then I'm also going to measure from my hip line to my knee line. I'll divide it by 2 and just mark a point. Then I'm also going to repeat it at the side back of my back pattern and at the side front of my front pattern. It's not compulsory you do it at the center front. After marking all my points, I'm going to draw a horizontal line across. Then I'm going to label that area as my midline or middle line. So at my knee line, I'm going to mark 2.5 cm inward of my center back, and at the side back I'm also going to mark 2.5 cm. At the side front, I'm also going to mark 2.5 cm, but at the center front I am not going to mark anything. So I'm going to divide 2.5 cm by 2, and it's giving me 1.25. So I'll mark it on my midline at the center front, as well as the side back, as well as the side front. The center front, we do not need to touch anything there. So we'll get the varying curve. Now we're going to connect from our hip line with a curve to the midline and flip the ruler over, connect from the midline to the knee line and to the hem, and we'll repeat again at the side, flip it over and connect to the hem. For the center front, connect again from your hip line to your midline, and from the midline you flip over and connect to the hem. So this is how you get your peg skirt. I'm just scrapping those areas out to indicate that we no longer need those areas. The ideal thing to do is to cut those areas you have scrapped out, but this is like a cheat code for me, so I just prefer to like fold those areas out so that if I need to do any alterations or manipulations, I can easily do that. Now if you want to eliminate your front dart, you need to just measure your dart and mark it at the side, then blend it back into your hip line, and that's how you eliminate the front dart. In another video, I'm going to be showing you how I use the skirt pattern to create a pencil skirt. This is a pattern I usually use to create 6 pieces, 8 pieces, gauge skirt, A-line, whatever piece of skirt I need to make just from this basic skirt pattern that I have altered into a peg skirt. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please like, comment, share, and your feedback is highly solicited. Take care and have a very wonderful day ahead.